Hey kids, if you want to learn how to read music, which guitarists are notoriously bad at, the way to do that is to write music. And here is the first exercise in writing music. First, you have to learn how to write a treble clef, because we're going to start with the treble clef. So I'm just going to come in here real close, and hopefully it's going to focus. And then what you do to write a treble clef is you circle the third or the fourth line down. You circle it, and then you come up, and then down, like that. My treble clefs are notoriously, shall we say, styled. I do them kind of fast like that. And sometimes they look great, and sometimes they don't. Okay, but that's okay. And you just practice them just like you practiced your letters as a kid. Okay, so then we're going to write a treble clef, and we're going to write 4/4, because first we're going to learn how to write music in 4/4 time, and then we're going to write a measure, a bar line just past the middle of the line, and then a line at the end, and then we're going to split the halves in half. So we've now split the line in half, so we're now going to split the lines in half, because this is about learning to write and read rhythms at first, and by writing them. So now I have 4 roughly equal measures that you can very easily scan visually. Right? Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the second line, except on the second line, for some reason, I do not need a time signature. I'm sorry about the focus. I'm having some camera issues today, but hopefully this will will work out. So, then do the same thing. Split the halves in half, split it in half, and split the halves in half. And I'm going to go ahead and write a double line there at the end. Okay. Okay, so for the purposes of these first exercises, just note this. You get treble clefs on each line. You get a clef on each line, but you only have to have the time signature, in or out of focus, at the beginning of the piece or when the time changes. So then, oh, this is terrible, the focus. So, then, you're going to get a few options to write your rhythms. First, you can have a whole note, and that's just a circle. We're just writing one note today. I'm going to write on C. So that's a circle. Or you can have one note, which is 4 beats. You can have 2 half notes, which are 2 beats each. Notice that I make the note head first, and then I put the stem on it. That's because you hear the beginning of the note before you hear the end of the note. So you know that it's what note it is, but then you know how long it is afterwards. Okay, so you can have 2 notes. You can also have a dotted half note followed by a quarter note. Now notice I have to estimate where that quarter note head goes. So I make the note head and then I fill it in and put the stem. But roughly speaking, that note head is 3/4 of the way through that measure. I just drew this little dotted line so that you could see how that works. Okay, and with 2 notes per measure, you can also have, I'm being kind of cavalier in writing, a note head thusly. You can have a quarter note followed by a dotted quarter. 2 notes per measure. Those are all your options for 2 notes per measure. We're not doing any rests today, but someday you'll get to rest. Okay, so then you can have 3 notes per measure. So you could have a half note followed by 2 quarter notes. Notice I'm writing the first one, and then the second one I've written the note head, and then I fill it in and I put the stem on it, and then I put the second note head, somewhat cavalierly. Notice that it's just like when we put the bar lines. You split it in half and then you split the halves in half. That's how you get it to look neat. Okay? And then you can have 2 quarter notes followed by a half note. So look at this. I'm going to put the note heads in first. Write them like that. And then add my stems. Okay? So we have one other very syncopated rhythm, which is we're going to have a quarter note followed by a half note followed by another quarter note. So I'm going to put the note heads, I'm going to fill in the note heads of the quarter notes, and then I'm going to put the stems on. And finally, oh yes, what everyone's been waiting for, you can have all 4 notes per measure. So notice I'm going to put in beats 1 and 3 first, and then beats 2 and 4. And then I'll fill in all the note heads. And put the stems on. And that is how you write those notes, my friends. Okay, and then what you do is you practice by writing little 8-measure rhythms, where you practice with repetition and change to create interesting rhythms, and you count them out. I guess what I should do with this is that, okay, so this first rhythm is 1, 2, 3, 4, and this second rhythm is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and this one is 1 and 4, and the 2 and 3 go by. When this one's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 go by. 1, 2 goes by. There's 3, 4. There's 1, 2, 3. 4 goes by. 1, 2, 3 goes by. There's 4, and this one goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you get good at this, you can imagine a rhythm and write it down very easily. So I'm going to go bum ba da da dum 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 ba dum dum dum. And so now I'm going to write that. I'm going to put my treble clef down, and then I'm going to go like this and put all my bars down. Put my double line at the end, another treble clef, and all my bar lines down. Great. And I went bum ba da da dum dum dum. Ba-dum, ba-dum, dum, dum. Oh. We'll make it ba-dum, ba-dum, dum, dum, dum. Very simple, but there it is. So you can very quickly write rhythms, which is a good thing to be able to do, and actually will really enhance your ability to read, which guitarists are notoriously bad at. So first write a bunch of rhythms on the x-axis, and then you can add notes on the y-axis. Maybe we'll come back and do that. All right. If you're on time and you're in tune, you're okay.